Chapter 186, Body of 10,000 Posons 1. Outside the Thousand Posons mountain range, thousands of feet in the sky, a bronze war chariot moved forward with a whistling sound. This war chariot was 100 meters tall and more than 10 feet wide. It looked rough and was engraved with ancient rune patterns. It was a long-standing war dharma treasures. In front of the chariot, there was a demon beast that looked like a golden Qilin one. Qilin the Qilin is a legendary hooved chimerical creature that appears in Chinese mythology pulling the carriage. This beast indeed possessed the bloodline of the Qilin. It was called the Golden Qilin Beast. Its entire body was covered in golden scales and its appearance was mighty and extraordinary. Its strength was at the level of a golden core realm martial king, and the body of this demonic beast was powerful. Its strength was above that of cultivators of the same level. To be able to use a demon king with a special bloodline to pull the carriage, it could be seen how deep the Yi family's foundation was. Beside him, a war dharma treasure that looked like a yellow ancient bow was moving forward. "Brother Yi, we have to stay in Silk City for a few days. Let's part ways here." The people from Qianzheng Academy spoke. "All right, come to Jinzhou when you're free." Yi Wenzhong squeezed out a smile. He didn't get any benefits this time, and even lost many people. How could he be in the mood to show a good expression? "Farewell." The cultivator, who looked like an old master, cupped his fists and ordered his dharma treasures to change directions and fly towards Silken City in the distance. The Yi family continued to fly towards Jinzhou on the bronze chariot. There were 36 prefectures in Great Jin. Silken City was located in the southeast, while Jinzhou was in the northwest. They still had to fly 3,000 miles to reach it. The Yi family was the overlord of Jinzhou's cultivation world. Their strength was comparable to Superclass X, and their influence spanned across Jinzhou and the surrounding cities, Yuanzhou, Jianzhou, and other places. Compared to the chaotic Silken City, Jinzhou had the Yi family secretly presiding over it. It was still relatively peaceful and there were no wars. When they entered the Jinzhou area, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It was safer to return to their own territory. Just as they were relaxing, in a cloud behind the bronze chariot, more than 10 figures were secretly following them on a Dharma treasures ship. They had been following them for a period of time. "Father, aren't you going to attack? They're all going back to their nest." Lu Youayu looked a little tired. She had stared at the butt of the golden chariot for a long time. "We can prepare to attack soon. Now is the time for them to relax. We just have to kill Yi Wenzhong. We don't expect to wipe all of them out." Lu Ju felt that the time was almost up. The Yi family definitely did not expect them to follow them all the way here. Song Shi stopped him. "What did you find?" Ghost Butcher asked. "There's a group of people in that direction. They're following us on the ground." Song Shi pointed at the hilly area in the southeast direction. "They can't possibly be following us to admire the scenery, right?" From 10,000 meters in the sky to the hills in the southeast, the straight line distance between both has exceeded 50 kilometers. Lu Ju could not help but take another look at Song Shi. The two nascent soul cultivators did not even notice anything. What method did this guy use? Song Shi smiled mysteriously. "Let's sit on the boat and watch the show." It wasn't that his senses were very strong, but he had sensed it through the replica of the 7-color alms bowl on his body. To be precise, he could sense the goo worms in those people's bodies. This replica had some of the original numinous treasures effects, so it had started to be effective. "Which faction?" Liu Yu asked curiously. "I'm not sure. I can only sense someone." Song Shi shook his head. "Pfft, I thought you were good." Lu Youayu immediately looked down on Song Shi. Song Shi turned his head and started to size up her figure again. Lu Youayu blushed and quieted down. It couldn't be helped, now that Song Shi had returned to his original appearance. He was charming, carefree, sunny, and handsome. It was difficult to compare him to a fierce demon. "Damn it, why am I blushing?" Lu Youayu was angry and embarrassed. She was ashamed of her own reaction. She didn't know that being stared at by a handsome man who she found irresistible would mostly be like this. Shi Qianya's expression darkened. Lu Youayu had always been his ideal companion. How could she blush because of another man? Song Shi looked at the shy and beautiful Lu Youayu with interest. He had to admit that this woman was indeed very beautiful. She carried a kind of feral and demonic charm. Unfortunately, she had a foul mouth. Ahum, the blood-robed elder is more than 1,000 years old, right? Lu Ju coughed meaningfully. These words were already very obvious. He wanted San Shi to have some morals and not think of Lu Yuyu that way. I've checked, the blood-robed elder is more than 1,300 years old. In the mortal world, has equivalent to an ancestor from more than 100 generations ago. Shi Qianya specially emphasized the word old. I'm 18. San Shi retorted. He was really 18 years old, 19 at most. Everyone looked at him with disdain. San Shi was helpless, who asked him to be involved in possession. There was really no way to explain this. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Just as everyone was looking down on San Shi's shamelessness, a strange sound came from afar. Lu Yuyu turned her head to avoid San Shi's aggressive gaze. She touched her hot and delicate face and said, uncomfortably, "Where did the sound of rats come from in the sky?" In order to avoid being discovered, Lu Ju deliberately used his Dharma treasures to fly 10,000 meters into the sky to hide in the clouds. There were not many birds here, let alone rats. The inner sect disciples and elders of the heavenly ghost sect who followed them looked around. Then, their pupils constricted and they landed on a black cloud that rose from the ground. Look, what is that? It seems to be a bird. It's a bat. While some people were still identifying them, those with good eyesight had already recognized them. San Shi quietly watched as the dense swarm of bats flew towards the bronze chariot. On the chariot, flags fluttered. Yu Wenzhong suddenly opened his eyes and looked down through the gaps in the railings. A group of squeaking black clouds was rapidly approaching.